Hey, everybody. It's your lovely Lotus Blossom Lizzie. And we are going to be doing another session in the Christmas Junk Journal. Because as you know, we're doing the Christmas dailies for 2019. So if you love videos like this, please make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you love junk journal channels like we do. And you can also join us over at Junk Journal Buddies over on Facebook. And all the links are below in the description. So the first thing I always like to do is to take some things out that I may or may not be using because, a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do, y'all. I never know what I'm going to use, so I usually just throw a lot of stuff out on my desk and kind of pick through it. Oh, and I also wanted to mention, if you want to see this video in its entirety and not sped up, then you can head over to patreon.com/LizForAday to see the real-time video. But I promise I didn't cut too much out for you. Now, what I'm doing here is I am attempting to use my Tattered Angels paint spray or Shimmer Mist, and I was having a hard time getting it out of the bottle. I was trying to spray it and it just wasn't going, and I thought it was clogged up. So my good buddy over at Scrap Craftastic, thank you Rachel for the tip. She says take a tissue or a rag and try to spray directly into it. And for some reason that seemed to work. So once I did that, I was able to use the spray. Now I did use like a pinkish kind of shimmer mist because I didn't, I was just too lazy to get up and go get a red one. So I did use pink and green and some gold type. Now they have some kind of funky colors, but you get the gist. So next I had this packaging from my Christmas cards that, I never send out Christmas cards, but this year, I don't know, I got a wild hair, y'all, and I've been sending out Christmas cards like crazy. So I just cut like some bits and pieces off of that package that I thought that I could use. And I have like a plastic bag where I'm kind of keeping all the Christmas goodies at, because I'm trying to keep them kind of separate because, we don't really use them throughout the rest of the year. So I thought it would be a good idea to just go ahead and cut these out and just keep them where I can get to them just in case I want to use them someplace else within this book as well. Okay, so finally I found the piece that I wanted, and my book doesn't stay open, so I use my telephone to hold the book down. And I found the perfect spot for it, which was right up under my Christmas list, because that list that's in that pocket is actually my Christmas list. And so I have a picture here of some of the cards that I actually already got ready to send out. And I took that picture for my Instagram. So if y'all want to see some of my personal notes to self over on Instagram, you can head over to Instagram Liz for a Day. Or if you want to see more shop things, you can go over to Pleasant Creations over on Instagram. So now I wanted to put this paper down in a creative way. Now this paper I wanted to use for ideas of things to do in my Christmas journal, kind of like prompts for myself. And so I folded it up so that when you open it, I could write on the inside of it. And I decided to add this lovely Christmas colored twine to this as well, because I have this twine and I've never used it. This was the first time I've used it, and it is red and green and white actually, but it's a lovely color and I decided to use that. So I used some double stick tape to adhere this note down. Y'all, it was just perfect. And this paper is actually some stationery that I had. I had a whole pack of that stuff, and I'll probably never be able to use it like in 50 million years. So I plan on including some of it in some of my upcoming Christmas journals. So we'll see how that goes. I plan to do some Christmas journals throughout the year. So now I am using some of my Dilutions paint, and y'all, that paint is so bright and beautiful. It's called Engine Red, and it looks engine red too. And I love working with this paint. It's just so creamy and nice. And every time I use the Dilutions paint, you all hear me just talk about it like it's the best thing since sliced bread, because it is just wonderful to work with. I love the Dilutions paint. And so I didn't have any red, so I ordered me some red and I got me some red in. And man, I love the way it's turning out. I knew I would be doing some painting in this journal, and didn't really know how much, but I made sure I left some white space so that I could do some painting. But y'all know me. I'll just paint over anything if I feel kind of in that painty mood. So no page is safe when it comes to Lizzie. So now I'm just looking for the right placement for this, and you can kind of see how this gag is going to work. And of course, I don't like using my nails to take the double stick tape off, so I took my weeder out because y'all know I'm hoity-toity like that. And of course, I wanted to put the string on there. I almost forgot to put the string on. And then I just placed it right where I wanted it to go. Because, you know, that double stick tape, once you stick it down, it's a done deal. And then I just tied it up. And so now when I get ready to go in there, I can just open it up and look at what's written inside. So next I took out some little snippets that I had already wrote up on days that those particular things happened. And I decided to use some cardstock on the back of those to kind of give it a frame, because y'all know how I feel about frames too. So I was giving it a frame, and I had to just, I had to put some fabric on there because, y'all, fabric gives me joy. Fabric gives me so much joy. I just love using it all throughout my journal. So I definitely had to go ahead and put a few pieces on these little snippets of journaling. So I decided to just leave a little bit of the sewing in here. I did take most of it out, but what I wanted to do before I actually kind of mounted that onto the cardstock was to use some of my distressed ink. So I'm using some red distressed ink, and I'm really having a ball using the distressed ink because I don't get to use it that much. And this one is red. We usually just use like the darker colors, but I really want this to be all out Christmassy, so I wanted to use the red on here. So, my journal would not be my journal if it didn't have just a ton of sewing in it. So, the Whippersnapper is at work in this particular session. And if you don't know who the Whippersnapper is, the Whippersnapper is my sewing machine. I dubbed it the Whippersnapper. And it is a Brother SQ 9185 computerized sewing machine with lovely, lovely, lovely stitching in it. So every chance I always want to use this machine to really zhuzh up my pieces. I love to zhuzh up my pieces because, it's like eye candy for the journal. So that's what I'm doing here. I almost forgot to put my little piece of fabric on here, so I had to go back in and do the fabric as well. I love watching sewing. I even love watching my sewing. I already told y'all I'll go back and watch my videos. I enjoy my videos. Is there something wrong with me for enjoying my own videos? I don't know. So I gave the corners a little round on these just to kind of finish them off. And then, of course, we have to go through where we're going to put this at. We're going to put it here. We're going to put it there. I just said, let me just go ahead and just put it down. And so for this particular piece, it's just paper. It was actually from a notepad. Notepads make excellent journaling spots. And this was the day that I started walking as well. So you'll see in red it says started walking. So that was kind of cool. And then I decided for these, I wanted to be able to flip them up if I wanted to. So something is definitely going to go on the back of these pieces. And I had to think about it and think about it. So I decided to do a hinge. So I just folded that piece of paper in half and just made sure it was the right length. And I put some double stick tape on both sides. Use my bone folder to make sure everything was burnished down really well, because you always want to do that when you're using any type of adhesive. And I check my placement again. And blammo, I have a hinge piece that I can just flip up with no issues at all. So I'm going to do this other piece like that as well. So I found another piece, so you'll see how I do this again. So this is a really good technique, and you can use it on any side of your piece. You can even do it on the bottom if you wanted to, but I just did mine's on the top. And I think one thing that I really, really love about junk journaling is the interactiveness of everything, because you have your pockets, you have your flip ups, your flip outs, you have your bands that hold things, and then all the textile type of things like the fabrics and even just the stitching, because I love running my hands over the stitching. I am definitely a tactile type of person. And blammo, that is a lovely page. And I decided to see if there was anything else that I wanted to do, but I think that was pretty much it for this layout. So you can see this is starting to come together now, and I can't wait to do more pages in here. So let me know, what is your favorite part of this whole session? I think my favorite part is the Christmas cards. This right here, I love how all of the sewing and everything came out. So remember to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And with that, I'm going to say love, peace, and hair grease. From your sweet and lovable Lotus Blossom Lizzie, have a fantabulous day and enjoy life.